Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose. And the most dangerous person on earth is not the one with power, but the one with vision. When we talk about becoming a billionaire, we must move beyond the shallow idea of accumulating money and dive into the deeper ocean of meaning. Because true wealth is not found in your bank account. It is found in your belief system. You can always tell when someone is called to greatness by the weight of the vision they carry. They walk differently, they speak differently. They don't just react to life, they respond to purpose. And there are signs, clear signs, that someone is on a trajectory toward billionaire impact. Not because they chase money, but because they chase meaning. Wealth is not pursued, it is attracted. And it is attracted to those who walk in alignment with destiny. The first sign is this: you possess a vision bigger than your lifetime. A vision so vast, so deep, so generational that you know you will never see the full harvest in your own days. Yet you plant anyway, you build anyway, you labor anyway. Why? Because the future billionaire doesn't build for applause, they build for posterity. They understand that legacy is more valuable than luxury. Your vision is not a fantasy. It is a photograph of your future, captured in your spirit, developed through faith, and revealed through discipline. The second sign is your relationship with problems. While others complain, you create. While they panic, you plan. While they look for comfort, you look for solutions. The wealth you desire is currently hidden in someone's crisis. And when you choose to become the answer, wealth begins to follow you. Remember, you don't need money to start. What you need is relevance. People pay for answers, not appearances. They reward impact, not intention. The third sign is that your thinking has outgrown this generation. You're not just dreaming about what you can have. You're thinking about what your children's children will inherit. Billionaire minds don't think in quarters, they think in centuries. They don't just chase opportunities, they design systems. Their goals are tied to generational transformation, not personal gratification. They understand that influence is more powerful than income, and legacy is louder than luxury. The fourth sign is your willingness to delay gratification. You don't spend to impress, you invest to increase. You understand that discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. You're not chasing the latest trend. You're crafting timeless value. You train your mind, you guard your habits, you build your character. Because before wealth can enter your hands, it must first enter your heart. And if it enters your hands before your mind is ready, it will destroy you. But if your mind is ready, wealth will serve you. Billionaires are not made in markets. They are made in moments of daily discipline. The fifth sign is how you handle rejection. Future billionaires are comfortable with being misunderstood. You see, when you're called to be different, you must be willing to walk alone. The crowd will never understand the blueprint given only to you. That's why some people criticize what they cannot comprehend. But you must stay focused. Eagles are never concerned with the opinions of pigeons. You must refuse to explain yourself to people who lack the capacity to see what you carry. Greatness is often lonely before it is legendary. And finally, the sixth sign is your philosophy of money. You don't see it as a trophy to be shown off. You see it as a tool to build the future. You understand that money is not your master. It is your servant. It is not the end. It is a means to an end. And that end is purpose. That end is transformation. That end is solving real problems and lifting others higher. When you understand this, you will never chase wealth. It will chase you, because purpose is magnetic. When you align your life with the reason you were born, the resources you need will find you. You possess a vision bigger than your lifetime. A future billionaire is not driven by money, but by vision. When your dream outlives you, your wealth will outgrow you. You were born not just to make a living, but to make a difference. You solve problems others run from. That is one of the clearest signs you're on your way to uncommon wealth. Not because you're smarter than others, but because you've trained your mind to see crisis differently. While the majority flee from pressure, you interpret pressure as a platform. While others are intimidated by problems, you are inspired by them. You see, the path to wealth is not paved with comfort. It is paved with courage. Every major breakthrough in history came because someone decided to face what everyone else avoided. The world doesn't pay you for showing up. It pays you for showing solutions. And the magnitude of the problem you solve determines the size of the platform you stand on. If you're looking to become a billionaire, don't chase money. Chase problems. Run toward what others call impossible. Ask the questions no one else is asking. Think where others have stopped thinking, because that's where transformation begins. Problems are like invitations. Hidden within them is the potential to create systems, businesses, inventions, and institutions. What seems like chaos to others looks like opportunity to the visionary. The wealthy are not those who run from fire. They are the ones who learn how to contain it, harness it, and convert it into energy. The wealthiest people in the world didn't start with capital. They started with a cause. They found a gap, a pain point, a dysfunction in the world, and they made it their mission to become the answer. When you adopt the mindset of a problem solver, you automatically elevate your value. People don't pay you for your time. They pay you for the value you produce in that time. Time has no reward without relevance. Relevance means you matter. Relevance means you're necessary. And necessity is what commands compensation. If you're not needed, you're not rewarded. The marketplace doesn't respond to noise. It responds to necessity. And necessity is created when you consistently show up with answers. But here's the key: responsibility precedes reward. Responsibility is the gate you must pass through before you can handle riches. When you begin to carry the weight of solving problems for others, whether it's in business, education, government, or communities, you position yourself for elevation. God will never give you more than you're willing to manage. If you cannot handle problems, you will never handle prosperity. Wealth is attracted to those who carry the burden to make things better. This is why billionaires don't just launch companies, they launch causes. They don't just trade goods, they trade solutions. And every solution that truly matters was born out of someone's refusal to ignore a problem. You cannot elevate what you avoid. If you hide from hard things, you delay your own promotion. But when you lean in, when you rise up, when you say, "This will not remain broken on my watch," you unlock a level of favor that few ever see. Solving problems requires skill, yes. But more than that, it requires sight. You must be able to see beneath the surface, to look beyond what is and imagine what could be. You must cultivate the mindset that asks, why is this broken? What would fix it? How can I serve through this? Because service is the seed of success, and solving problems is the highest form of service. When you become an answer, money becomes your echo. When you become a solution, success becomes your shadow. Wealth follows those who solve problems. The greater the problem you solve, the greater the value you bring. Money is a reward for relevance, and relevance is born from responsibility. You think in generations, not just goals. This is one of the most powerful and overlooked signs that you are destined for a level of wealth that transcends income. It builds legacy. Billionaire minds don't just live for the moment, they live from the future. They are architects of destiny, not just achievers of dreams. While most people are counting years, wealth builders are counting generations. The average mind plans for the weekend. The successful mind plans for 5 years. But the billionaire mind is planting seeds for people they may never meet. They are designing systems that will bless their children's children. If your dream dies with you, it was never big enough. The future billionaire has matured beyond selfish ambition. Their passion is not just to succeed, but to sustain success through time. They understand that real prosperity is not what you consume, it's what you create that continues without you. You see, wealth without succession is waste. If all you build ends when you die, then you were rich, but not wise. Billionaire minds don't just build businesses, they build blueprints. They create instructions, mentorship systems, and succession plans. They pour wisdom into people, not just money into accounts, because they know money can be lost, but mentality can rebuild it. Legacy is not what you leave for people, it's what you leave in them. And a future billionaire is already living with that in mind. Generational thinking reshapes how you see decisions. You stop making choices based on convenience and start making them based on consequence. You think, will this investment still be working when I'm gone? Will this institution still speak when I can no longer talk? Will this principle still be working long after my picture is off the wall? That's what it means to think like a billionaire. Your goal isn't to be remembered for what you had, but for what you built that kept giving. Most people want to be famous, but the wise want to be foundational. They'd rather be the root than the fruit, because fruit is temporary, but roots determine the future. When your mind shifts from goals to generations, You stop chasing fast profits and start establishing timeless principles. You stop trying to go viral and start trying to go vital. You stop impressing people and start impacting them. When you think generationally, you also live differently. You realize that your decisions have ripple effects. What you tolerate today becomes a culture tomorrow. So you raise your standard, not for you, but for those coming after you. You pay the price others avoid, so your children don't have to. You sacrifice today's applause for tomorrow's stability, because you are not just building a brand. You are building a bloodline of wisdom, vision, and value. That's why the billionaire mind often looks slow at first. While others are sprinting, they are strategizing. They take time to learn what lasts. They are not rushed by trends because they are anchored in timeless principles. They're not obsessed with being the first. They are focused on being the foundation. They ask deeper questions. What will this look like in 50 years? How will this affect my lineage? What will I be remembered for? Thinking in generations demands humility. It forces you to confront your mortality, not as a limitation, but as motivation. You begin to live with urgency, not for self, but for significance. You realize that success is not measured by what you own, but by what continues when you're gone. A house may be sold, a car may rust, but a principle embedded in a generation lives forever. Billionaire minds are generational. They build for legacy, not applause. If your plans only benefit you, they're too small. A true wealth builder thinks in terms of impact that lasts. You discipline your desires for a greater destiny. This is a defining mark of those who are not just aiming for wealth, but for dominion. Because no one who is ruled by desire can be trusted with destiny. The future billionaire understands that success is not just about conquering the external world. It's about mastering the internal one. Before you can have influence over nations, over markets, over industries, you must first have influence over yourself. Discipline is not restriction. It is refinement. It is not the enemy of freedom. It is the foundation of it. Without discipline, your gifts become distractions. Your talents become traps. Your creativity becomes chaos. But when desire is brought under discipline, it becomes direction. It becomes focused, sharpened, and ready for impact. A future billionaire is not someone who says yes to everything. They are someone who has learned the power of a strategic no. Self-mastery is the quiet work no one sees but everyone benefits from. It is the early morning rise when sleep whispers seduction. It is the silent restraint when pride begs for applause. It is the patient endurance when shortcuts scream for attention. You see, before wealth can trust you, it must test you. Because money is a magnifier, it multiplies whatever you are. If you are undisciplined, it multiplies destruction. But if you are focused, it multiplies fruitfulness. This is why the path to uncommon success is narrow. Not because opportunity is rare, but because discipline is. Most people will not be billionaires, not because they're not gifted, but because they're not governed. They have potential, but no process. They have dreams, but no discipline. But those who will rise to shape nations are those who have mastered the art of delayed gratification. They understand that appetite must serve assignment, not sabotage it. Every great destiny demands a price. And the currency is your daily choices. Can you turn off distractions? Can you manage your emotions? Can you stay consistent when no one is clapping? Can you protect your focus like your life depends on it? Because it does. These are the inner battles that define external results. The market will not reward your feelings. It will reward your fruit. And fruit only comes through the discipline of seed time and harvest. True wealth builders aren't addicted to dopamine. They're addicted to development. They're not chasing highs. They're building habits. They don't get trapped in comparison because their eyes are locked on calling. They understand that becoming is harder than appearing. But only the ones who become can be trusted with beholding the kind of influence that changes economies, restructures culture, and shapes policy. Desire is natural, but destiny is intentional. You must train your appetite to follow your assignment, not fight it. You must choose structure over impulse, stewardship over indulgence. Because one moment of undisciplined emotion can destroy a lifetime of work. The world has seen talented men fall, brilliant minds collapse, and gifted leaders crumble. Not because they lacked vision, but because they lacked self-governance. Dominion in the world begins with dominion in the soul. That's why future billionaires often look boring to the world. While others party, they prepare. While others scroll, they study. While others coast, they cultivate. They are not controlled by trends, they are aligned with truth. And they understand something the world ignores, that discipline is not the enemy of desire, it is the guardian of it. It protects you from becoming your own enemy. It keeps your future safe from your feelings, because destiny is too valuable to leave unguarded. Future billionaires master themselves before they master markets. You can't rule over industries if you can't rule over your impulses. Discipline is the seed of dominion. You're not afraid to be misunderstood. That's how you know you're being set apart for something uncommon. Because no one ever broke barriers without breaking expectations. If you must always be understood, you will always stay in familiar places. But if you are called to exceptional wealth, to build what has never been built, to see what others cannot see, then you must become comfortable walking alone, at least for a season. The future billionaire carries vision that is often invisible to the present crowd. You see ahead, while others are stuck in what is. Your ideas will sound strange. Your decisions will be questioned. Your priorities will seem foolish to those who have settled for average. And that is the cost of leadership, to be misread, misjudged, even mocked. Not because you are wrong, but because you are ahead. Misunderstanding is not a sign of failure. It is a confirmation that you are building beyond the current language of the culture. People cannot interpret what they have never seen. So they label it. They resist it. But those labels do not define you. They verify you. When others call you obsessed, it means they don't understand your focus. When they call you arrogant, it may be that they are offended by your confidence. When they call you unrealistic, they are revealing the limits of their imagination, not yours. If you study the lives of world changers, those who move the needle of history, you will see a pattern. Before they were celebrated, they were criticized. Before they were honored, they were ignored. Why? Because greatness often enters quietly. It begins in shadows. It doesn't announce itself with noise. It grows in the soil of solitude, rejection, and inner clarity. So if you're being misunderstood, don't shrink. Stay the course. What they mock today, they may magnify tomorrow. Wealth doesn't follow those who crave approval. It follows those who carry assignment. And assignment requires audacity. You must have the strength to be misunderstood without losing your clarity. You must be willing to obey your conviction, even when consensus is absent. Because consensus is often the enemy of innovation. If you wait until everyone agrees, you'll be too late. Billionaires move on conviction, not comfort. They launch ideas before the market is ready. They invest in things others call foolish. And they persist through seasons where no one claps. Being misunderstood is not punishment, it is protection. It shields you from premature praise. It keeps your motives pure. It forces you to dig deeper into your why, to stand on your principles when popularity is absent. The ability to keep building when no one else understands is one of the clearest signs of inner wealth. Because you are not moved by noise, you are anchored by necessity. You are not addicted to applause, you are addicted to assignment. This inner fortitude is what makes you trustworthy. If you can be discouraged by being misunderstood, you cannot handle the weight of wealth. Because wealth at the highest levels does not just bring influence. It brings intense isolation. Decisions get heavier. Responsibility multiplies. Critics increase. And if you've not been forged in the fire of misunderstanding, you'll crumble under the pressure of recognition. So if you're being doubted, dismissed, even disrespected, rejoice. It means you're walking a path that has not been normalized. And only those who break norms build new standards. Let your results speak. Let time reveal the truth. Because truth always outlives noise. And legacy is always born in silence before it is celebrated in sound. If you're going to be exceptional, you must be willing to be misread, misjudged, and even mocked. Wealth follows those who dare to stand alone until others understand. You see money as a tool, not a trophy. This is the clearest separation between those who want to appear rich and those who are truly being prepared to be wealthy. The future billionaire does not chase money. They attract it by becoming a vessel that money can trust. You understand that money is not the goal, it is the gear. It is not the finish line, it is the fuel. It is not the source, it is the servant. People who idolize money disqualify themselves from managing it well. Because anything you worship, you will eventually mishandle. But when money becomes a tool in the hands of purpose, it becomes powerful, it becomes strategic. You don't spend it to be seen, you assign it to produce. It no longer controls you. You command it. Because money is never neutral. It always moves in the direction of intention, and only a person who sees it rightly will use it righteously. The billionaire mindset doesn't just acquire money, it appoints it. Every dollar has a job. Every resource has an assignment. Every investment is a seed, not a souvenir, because you know that what you do with money reveals what you truly value. Is it just to impress, or is it to impact? Is it just to flaunt, or is it to found something? When money becomes a trophy, it becomes a trap. But when it is a tool, it becomes a testimony of what purpose can build. This is why future billionaires think differently from the beginning. They don't dream of cash. They dream of change. They don't wake up to chase profit. They wake up to create value. And because they create value, money flows to them naturally. They don't have to beg for wealth. It finds them. Because wealth is always attracted to those who solve problems, serve people, and steward resources with wisdom. This is why your motivation matters. If you pursue money without meaning, you may get it, but it won't stay. It won't fulfill you. It won't multiply. But when purpose is the engine, money becomes the vehicle. It moves in the direction of vision, and you begin to see wealth not as something to store up for self, but something to distribute for destiny. You stop asking, how can I get more? And start asking, how can I do more with what I have? The future billionaire is not just a collector of currency. They are a constructor of change. Their mind is on solutions, not status. They use money to build systems, not just buy symbols. They understand that a life of influence must be funded. And if you lack purpose, money becomes dangerous. But with purpose, it becomes divine. It becomes a force for healing, for building, for transforming entire generations. This is why provision follows vision. When you are on assignment, resources are never the issue. The world pays those who solve its pain. And if you've aligned your heart with something bigger than a bank account, you will not lack supply, because the Creator funds creators. Heaven does not invest in ego, it invests in impact. When you pursue purpose, provision chases you down. It overtakes you not so you can sit in luxury, but so you can stand in leadership. And that is the billionaire mindset. You don't hoard, you harness. You don't inflate your image, you invest in infrastructure. You think in terms of systems, scale, and sustainability. Money is not your identity, it is your instrument. It is not your source, it is your signal. It shows what you've built, who you've served, and how well you've stewarded the assignment you were born to fulfill. The billionaire doesn't chase money, they channel it. They use it to build, to bless, and to birth solutions. When you make purpose your pursuit, provision will pursue you. The evidence of a future billionaire is not in the car you drive, the clothes you wear, or the circles you impress. It is in the mind you cultivate, the problems you solve, the legacy you build, and the discipline you embrace. True wealth is not measured in digits. It is measured in dominion. It is not stored in banks. It is stored in your becoming. You were not born to chase money. You were born to command it. You were not sent to earth for accumulation. You were sent for assignment. Your life is bigger than survival. You are not here to just pay bills and die. You are here to build, to birth, to bless, and to break limits. This world is waiting on you, not your image, not your imitation, but your authentic influence. The signs are not external, they are internal. They are not found in status, they are found in stature. And if you can see these signs in yourself, don't ignore them. Nurture them. Refine them. Because you are not preparing for a paycheck, you are preparing for purpose. And when purpose is clear, provision will obey. When vision is real, wealth will respond. So rise up, think higher, live deeper, and walk boldly into the uncommon future that was wired into your spirit before the foundation of the world. You are not just chasing billions. You are becoming a vessel through which the world will never be the same. You are not just a person with potential. You are a person with a calling, and the world cannot afford for you to play small. Let others settle. You were born to build.